Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It is the stuff of dreams. Harrogate versus Notts County on the telly, YouTube on the computer, and talks of Sean Dyche. However, Sean Dyche has been on TalkSport saying nothing of the sorts has happened. Who to believe, what to believe. This is the life of being a Tottenham Hotspur fan. Hope you're all well. Hope you had a nice Friday night. Hopefully you didn't all watch England because, by God, that was boring, wasn't it? And a disgraceful, the England fans booing Ben White. Absolutely disgraceful fan behaviour. Anyway, as always, thank you to the sponsors. Please get over there. If you go to OK Jersey, if anyone wants any high-quality sporting wear, including football shirts from all of the major leagues, and all of the international World Cup shirts, please get over to OK Jersey and type in code Savva. And Match Bingo, the code is fhtv. If you put in £10, they'll give you an extra £10 on top. And as I said, lots of people have been winning on the old Match Bingo. So get over to that and you can play the Match Bingo for all of the games today in League One, League Two, and the non-league. How are we all? Where do we even begin? Spurs are always a bit of a shit show, aren't we? We're always a bit of a shambles. Now the bookies have Sean Dyche as the favourite to be the next Spurs manager. Now, if I had said to you, when did we move into this stadium? 2019. If I had said to you that from the time we move in the stadium, there's going to be a global pandemic, right? A global pandemic. Spurs are going to win a Europa League. We're going to have Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte both manage us. We're going to finish 17th and then possibly relegated the year after. You would have all called me crazy. You would have all said we are absolutely nuts. But all of those things have happened. Is relegation going to be the latest embarrassment to add on? I'd say it does make me laugh. It does make me laugh. Some of the things I see online, it's so funny. It's so funny. First of all, fans thinking we're better than Sean Dyche. I hate to break it to people. We're in a relegation battle, and not a little one. We're in a big relegation battle. So all these people are going, oh, Sean Dyche. Oh, he's shit. Well, maybe it's how far we've fallen that we are now looking at relegation specialists to keep us up as, there's a goal. Immediately, there's a goal from Notts County. Harrogate 0, Notts County 1. For anybody that cares about this league. Anyway, look, I don't even know where Spurs go from here. Is Sean Dyche, does he keep us up? I guess that's the only question now, right? The only question that's going to be asked of any manager has surely at this stage got to be not what you like or dislike about them, not their playing style, not who they've managed before, but will they keep you in the Premier League? We're going to have a look in this show at the Bookmaker's odds. We're also going to have a look at Sean Dyche's career and his statistics. I don't know. I don't know if he joins. I don't know if he doesn't. I don't know if they've spoken to him. It's a very funny interview, actually. If you watch him on TalkSport this morning, and he's talking about how he was in a pub last night in London, and a Spurs fan went up to him and said, "Oh, are you taking charge? I've heard you're meant to be at Spurs." He said, "Well, hang on, I'm standing next to you having a Guinness, and I'm on TalkSport in the morning." Pretty funny. Doesn't mean he's not coming. Doesn't mean he is coming. But the bookies. This is what the bookies have said. There we go. Next Tottenham manager odds. Sean Dyche is at 2-1 on to be the next manager. De Zerbi is at 3s. Adi Hutter at 4s. Mauricio Pochettino is at 6s. Ryan Mason is at 8s. And Robbie Keane is at 10s. I'll be honest. As a fan that's now seen every type of manager at this football club, I don't really know if anyone on that list actually makes me go, oh. But what do I expect? We're not an attractive proposition. We're not a big club anymore. If we ever were, I mean, we're big enough, but we're not Lubo size. But you know what Lubo tells everyone? We're a massive club. We've never won the Premier League. We've never won a Champions League. We haven't won a league since 1961. If I'm right, that's 65 years ago. But, hey, I don't know. I don't know what we do. We've tried everything. Win now managers, project managers, the underdog manager. We've tried fixer-uppers, haven't we? We've tried people like Igor Tudor and Frank and Conte and Jose and Ange, and none of it has built any stability. We've had one day Ramos and Ange win us a trophy and then both be sacked. We've had George Graham. Tim Sherwood's had a go at it. Nuno. Glenn Hoddle as the hero, the greatest player to have ever played for Tottenham Hotspur in many people's eyes. So what is the right answer? I don't think there is one. I genuinely don't think there is a right answer at this stage. Everybody thinks there's a right answer, but we've got years of evidence that tells us nothing's worked from a sustainability standpoint, right? Like, people go, oh, well, Ange worked. He won a trophy. Sure, he won a trophy, but we were also 17th and lost every week. That's not sustainable. One day Ramos won us the trophy. They won us the trophy and then didn't win for the first 8 games of the next season. Now, there are extenuating circumstances. Of course there are. Lots of injuries under Frank and under Ange. Ramos, when he won the trophy, then had, I believe, Berbatov and Keane ripped away from him. And he was given what? Fraser Campbell. But the facts will be the facts. That's what happened. People asking, is this for the odds for the permanent or the interim? It doesn't say. It just says on odds checker, the next Tottenham manager. I don't. Is there a difference anymore? I don't know. What if Sean Dyche comes in, keeps us up, wins 7 out of 7? Maybe they give him the job. I don't know anymore. You know, I think I'm past the point of being upset about Spurs. You know, I used to be so angry about Spurs, and now it's just kind of like, this is who we are. This is what we do. It's lots of people in the chat saying, does it matter? Like, the players have given up. The players have been shipped for years. But, Barcelona want this plan. But, Real Madrid. Fine. Doesn't mean anything. I don't support Barcelona or Real Madrid. I'm watching them play for Spurs in a Spurs shirt. And it's not been good enough, has it? It's not been good enough in any way, shape or form. I don't care who the next manager is, as long as he keeps us up. And Spurs made a horrific error in hiring Igor Tudor. 1 point from 15. I mean, the facts don't lie. Everyone went through that little phase of pretending that they were more positive than others because they wanted him after we drew with Liverpool. Many others sat there and said, I don't care that he's drawn to Liverpool. He's got to go. He's awful. What are the upsides to keeping Tudor? I don't know. What are the upsides? Let me know in the chat. Anybody got any upsides at all? I mean, I don't know. I can't think. The only upside I can see to keeping Igor Tudor is it means there's no merry-go-round again. However, right now, I don't care about the merry-go-round. I care about staying in the Premier League. Purveyor of Doom. The Purveyor of Doom. Let's see whose account this was. Let's see whose account this was. I love it. The Purveyor of Doom. Where are we? Let's see. Can I find out whose account was this? Let's have a look at their channel activity. Joined 3 days ago. Okay, Purveyor of Doom. Anyway, welcome to the show, Purveyor of Doom. Love it. I love it. You know that guy last week? Isn't it funny? The guy who came into my chat before the Forest game and said, Savva, you're the Purveyor of Doom, always negative. We're going to beat Forest. 90 minutes later, I don't remember him coming back into my chat. Do you? I don't remember seeing him back in the chat. It's funny, isn't it? When these people are wrong, they never turn up. I'm a better fan than you because I say nice things all the time. Yeah, sure. I bury my head in the sand and say good things. I tell people we're just going to batter teams like Nottingham Forest because I'm a better fan than you. Sure. Look, I don't know where we go from here, guys and girls. They've got, look, from the game last week, we have 3 weeks to sort this out. We're now a week into that. Aren't we? Tomorrow will be a full week since we played. Finish that. Go on, finish that. Oh, he's missed. Sorry, Notts County are absolutely battering Harrogate here for anyone that cares. At the moment, right, all we need is someone to keep us up. It's not about being pretty. It's not about playing attacking football. It's not about satisfying fans' egos. It's about come in, get the job done, see you later. Thank you very much. You're going to be a Tottenham hero forever. Whoever keeps us up is going to be a hero, right? Is that man Igor Tudor? Now, this is an interesting one, right? When people are saying how bad Dyche was at Forest, sure. But he did win 10 games out of 25 as the manager of Forest, didn't he? We'd take that. Now, it doesn't mean I like Dyche, doesn't mean I dislike Dyche, doesn't mean I want him, doesn't mean I don't want him. I'm just laying down some facts. People love caveating things, but those are the facts. He played. Let's have a look. Let's share the screen. There you go. Played 25, won 10, drew 6, lost 9. 22 points he picked up as Nottingham Forest manager. Just to give you perspective, Nottingham Forest have got 32 all year, and he's got 22 of them. So we can have the Forest fans and we can have the Everton fans tell us he's rubbish, but look how many points he's got. Now, that's his career, right? 583 games, 202 wins, 167 draws, and 214 losses. When people say things like this, you do realize my style of YouTube is that I engage with the audience and talk about people's opinions. And I think everyone just worries too much. I'm not worried. I'm just talking about stuff. Don't worry about it. So this is interesting, right? Now, I'm not sitting here pining for Dyche. I'm just offering up some information. I know people out there go, oh, Savva wants Dyche. Savva's not said anything of the sorts. I'm just looking at what are the pros, right? 10 wins from 25 games. Right? 40% win rate. If Spurs were to win 40% of our remaining 7 games, we stay up, don't we? Just asking for a friend. If Spurs were going to win 40% of 7 games, we'd stay up, wouldn't we? I don't know. But then you have to have the question, are the players beyond help? We blame managers a lot. All of us do, don't we? We all do it. We blame managers a lot. But I'm someone who's been trying to champion for a long time. I don't think the players should get off scot-free. I don't think these players are good enough. I don't think they're consistent enough. look, we are in a position now, right, where nobody should be free of criticism, should they? We'll come back to this in a little bit. No one should be free of criticism. But my mate who I was out with last night said to me, when I see you lining up with a midfield of Sarr and Gray, you know, I don't expect you to win games of football. I'm not blaming those two, but I'm blaming this is the situation we've put ourselves in. We've got a midfield of Sarr and Gray. We've got Porro and Tell on our wings. We've got players like Richarlison and Solanke up front. Like, what are we expecting? When we sign those types of players, what are fans actually expecting? You know, Jed Spence gets talked about like he's a top player. He's okay, isn't he? He's all right. Our fans would have you believe he's the best defender in the country. This is what we've been buying for years and years and years and years. And unfortunately, if you keep buying badly, you're going to turn into a bad team. That's the fact of it, right? That's the problem. We argue, don't we? Every day we go live. Whoever, you know, you guys are in the chat every day. We go live, us YouTubers every day. People on X and Reddit and Facebook and Instagram and all these sites, and everyone talks about this player, that player, this player, that player. They've all got to take the blame. They've all got, there's no player for me that doesn't take blame. We can all apportion blame mainly to one person, two people, but this is surely a collective, isn't it? Isn't this a collective blame? This is collective. Spurs are collectively crap at everything and have been for years. From owners to directors to medical team. Our PR and marketing and communications team, they never get it right, do they? They don't read the room. Spurs could be in the worst. Spurs could just get beaten 5-0 and an hour after the game, they're posting out on X about, they're posting on their official Spurs page about buy a shirt and get 50% off. You're like, hang on, we've just been beaten 5-0. You're trying to sell stuff to us. Then you look at the coaches, the scouts, the directors of football, the players, all of it. No one can tell me anything good that's been built by ENIC over 25 years. No one. I don't mean they've signed the odd good player. I mean, what have they built? In 25 years, if ENIC walk away right now, other than a stadium and a training ground, what is their legacy going to be? Did they leave us with a great squad? Absolutely not. Did they leave us with a really well-run scouting setup? No. Have they left us with a great academy that's produced player after player after player? No. What have they left us with from a footballing perspective? That's surely where the anger's got to be. If it is anger, I don't know if it's anger, if it's resentment, if it's disappointment, frustration, whatever word you want to attach to your personal feelings on Tottenham Hotspur, that's got to be it. So like when we say now, oh my God, I do not want Sean Dyche. I do not want this. This is where we are. This is where we've got ourselves into through years of being run terribly. And it's called negativity, isn't it? It's negativity. When fans like me look at the 11 and go, this is not a good 11. Oh, you're so negative. You hate everything about Spurs. Do you ever say anything positive about Spurs? Well, I don't know. Are Spurs ever going to win a game? Am I ever going to be proved? Am I ever going to be put in my place by these footballers over a period of time? Not just me. I mean, loads of people like me. Anthony, you're absolutely spot on, mate. When ENIC bought Spurs, they told us why they were buying the club. They did not rock up and say, we love football. We want to build a footballing dynasty. They told us they are business people. They told us they're in this sport to make money. And boy, they've made some money, haven't they? When they sell this football club, right? When they sell this football club, I don't know, 3.5, 4 billion. What did they buy it for? Was it 21 million? I don't know. Once all the share, I believe something like under 100 million they paid for Tottenham Hotspur, right? And if they sell it for 3.5, 4 billion, I mean, that's like me buying my house. By the way, my house isn't worth £1 million. That's like me buying a house for £1 million and selling it 25 years later for like £1 billion. Like it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how much money they're making. And we can blame the players, we can blame the managers, and we do. But it all comes back to ENIC every time, doesn't it? Everything they do is wrong. I can't remember the last time they made a good decision, a good football decision. I don't mean a player signing, right? I mean a good football decision. Right? No, for anyone in the chat, in fact, no, my house is not worth £1 million. No, it was just an example. It was just an example. If I had £1 million, trust me, if I'm buying £1 million house, I'm not buying it in South London. I can assure you of that. You're right. I mean, 2 trophies in 25 years. Do I blame ENIC solely for that? No, but that will be their legacy. That's a fact, right? That's a fact. Their legacy as it stands is 2 trophies in 25 years. That's completely true. I don't have Beyonce singing in my front room, not like Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, everything they do, I find it embarrassing, right? When Spurs email us, you all get the, go on, finish that. I'll tell you what, how Notts County are not 4 or 5-0 up is beyond me. I find it embarrassing. You know, I get the emails, you get the emails from Spurs. Oh, AJ Tracy live at Spurs in 4 weeks. I don't care. Anthony Joshua fighting. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't know, American football teams, the Bucking Broncos are playing the Texas, I don't know, whatever they're called. I don't give a shit. You go to the Spurs stadium. You ever been to a stadium that's got better toilets than Tottenham Hotspur? The toilets are lovely. The hand dryers are lovely. The stadium's wonderful. The food's good. The beer fills up from the bottom. They've managed to do all of that. And yet you look on the pitch and you go, why am I watching a midfield of Sarr and Gray in 2026? Why is our only left winger Matisse Tell? Why don't we have fullbacks? Why don't we have a single ball playing midfielder? Why is our goalkeeper Vicario? But don't worry, because we've got Dyson hand dryers, thousands of them throughout the stadium. Brilliant. At least my hands get dry quickly. And I've got no problem, by the way. I've got no problem of Spurs making money. Right? I've got no problem with them building a stadium and making revenue by putting on events. I don't care. But don't concentrate on that and forget the football. Don't do that. Because what they've done is they've put us in a position now where if we go down, that stadium is now a burden. That stadium does not finance itself, right? If you go down, they will have to start putting their money in. Now, if you go down and you come back up in 1 year, you're going to get away with it. If Spurs go down and stay down for 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, whatever, Spurs are in trouble. Serious, serious trouble. Now, we had this conversation the other day, didn't we? Look, if Spurs go down, do they bounce straight back up? I mean, it's a question no one can answer because we don't know who the manager will be. We don't know what the team will be. We don't know the director of football. We don't know if it will still be ENIC in charge. We have no idea. We say it as though it's a given. Yeah, Spurs will come straight back up. I don't know who the players would be, right? And they put us in that mess. And that's the good and the bad of the stadium. The good is it will generate money while Spurs are in the Premier League and putting on events. And yeah, the bad is if you go down, suddenly, what's an average Tottenham Hotspur ticket? 80 quid, 70 quid, 90 quid? Let me ask ChatGTP. Let's see if they give me an answer. What's the average ticket price for a Tottenham Hotspur game? Right, let's see what they say. Right, come on, ChatGPT. So an average ticket is between 70 and 90 pounds at Tottenham, right? I hate to break it to you. If Spurs go into the Championship, that is not what they'll be charging. No one will pay it. No one is going to pay 70 to 90 pounds, right? 70 to 90 pounds to watch Tottenham play Preston North End, to watch Tottenham play Lincoln City. They charge us an average of 70 to 90 pounds to watch these players. For 70 to 90 pounds, I want to be watching what Arsenal or Man City are getting to watch. Proper footballers. And it's supply and demand and yada, yada, yada. I get it. None of us are stupid enough to know that that's not how it works. But if we go down, sorry, Benny. Yeah, sorry. Do you know why I always say Preston North End? I automatically think of Alfie Devine for some reason, who's on loan at Preston. If we go down, we will get away with it for 1 year. Now, when I say get away with it, it's still going to have huge catastrophic circumstances, outcomes for Tottenham. But we'll be okay. If we go down, come back up in year one, we're going to be all right. And it will just forever be an embarrassing year, won't it? We go down and stay down. Think how many people lose their job. Think about the human element of this. Think about the human element of this. They reckon between 300 and 400 staff could lose their jobs if Spurs get relegated. Normal human beings with families and kids, bills to pay. But it's okay because Beyonce sings at our stadium every now and then. Do you know what I mean? Don't worry about them. Don't worry about the normal people who earn a normal salary because we got Beyonce. Also, you go down, ENIC aren't going anywhere, are they? ENIC are not going to let their 3.5, 4 billion valuation that will drop to about 1.5 billion probably. I'm just spitballing. I don't know the exact numbers. They're not going to go, oh, we'll sell it. We'll sell it. Now it's halved in value. They're not going to do that, are they? They're not idiots. They're billionaires for a reason. Billionaires are billionaires because they like money. And no amount of money is enough. And if you don't believe me, go and watch the Murdoch documentary on Netflix. No amount of money is enough. I've got 5 billion. I want 10. Oh, I've got to 10 billion. I now want 20. Just give me 1 billion and I'll retire and you'll never see my face on social media ever again. Sorry, 1 second. You know, I don't know I don't know. Listen, I'm part of the problem. Somebody who's, live every day. We're talking about football and I facilitate discussions and rants and conversations about Spurs. But we sit and talk, don't we, about Spurs all day, every day. We've all got one person we want to blame, but they've run this club so badly. They've just run it so badly. And still, there's an air of arrogance. All the way through this club, there is arrogance. There is arrogance from the owners. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll just buy kids. Cool. Don't worry. We won't buy anyone in the January transfer window when we're in a relegation battle. Cool. There's arrogance from managers. Look at the last game. Look at the arrogance of Igor Tudor. Not understanding that this is a must-win game at home to Forest. Puts out a really weak midfield to play up against their midfield three. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Arrogance. Ignorance. Whatever. All of these words apply, right? Choose the word that you associate with. The arrogance from our fans. It's only Forest. I mean, honestly, I've never seen such an arrogant fan base. It doesn't matter how bad we get, we keep burying our head in the sand as a collective, not singling any one person out. It's Forest. We'll just batter Forest. It's Forest to shit. Forest to shit. It's Fulham away. Fulham are shit. Palace, they're shit. We'll batter them. Cool. Wolves. That's all right. We'll go to Wolves. We'll batter them. It's only Sunderland. They just came up. It's arrogance. Just complete and utter arrogance. Oh, we'll just go and buy Semenyo. Sure. Don't worry. Just rock up. Adam Wharton will want to join us. Cool. Just go and buy Bastoni. Yeah. Because he's going to want to come. And it's seeped throughout the club, hasn't it? It's almost as though so many people have woken up, but so many still haven't. They still haven't quite got to the grips of how bad we've been doing this for years. It's somebody saying that the average price of a ticket in the Championship is £32. £32. £32. How are they making their money if they're only charging £32? Is ENIC worse than sugar? Absolutely. Absolutely. Different time. Really different time, right? Football then, the money in football wasn't what it is now. Back in those days when we talked about football, no one talked about owners, really. No one talked about directors of football. No one talked about scouts. We talked about manager and players. Some people still can't accept the biggest mistake was sacking Ange. Ange had us in exactly the same position in 17th. I love this revisionism. I see it all over. People going, oh my God, should have kept it. What do you mean we were 17th? What? The answer isn't because it's shit now, go back to what was shit before. The answer is fix it. Once and for all, fix it. Run the club properly. Run the club properly. This is what I mean. We're still floating around, people going, oh, it was Ange or Jose or Conte or Pop. We're not getting it, are we? We're not getting it. It's bigger than that. Tell me, I don't know. So Savva, suppose if we go down, do you see us getting up? Mate, I don't know, because I think the difficult thing that we've got is I can't predict who the manager's going to be if we go down, and what the none of us now can even begin to imagine what the squad is going to look like if we get relegated next year. It's going to be different by about 20 players if Spurs go down. It's gonna be 15, 20 players different. I have no idea. Now, you'd like to think that we go down and we bounce straight back up. But look at Leicester City. Look at Leicester City. They went down last year. They were favourites to go back up. And now they're in the bottom three of the Championship. They could go down again. Right? So I know loads of people just say it really, again, it's the arrogance. Yeah, we'll go down. We'll come straight back up. Don't worry. It's almost as though we don't want to look and go, hang on, do we trust the club to get this right? Who trusts the club? Right now in the chat. Who trusts this club if we go down to get it right first time to come back up? Who trusts them? Who trusts them to sell the right players, buy the right players, bring in the right director of football, implement the right manager, implement the players with the philosophy of every team that plays us is going to be like a cup final? Don't forget that. Every team that plays Tottenham next year, if we go down, is going to treat Tottenham Hotspur like it's a cup final. We will be the big scalp. Every time we lose a game, people will love it. Every single time. And that's just the facts. You think Lincoln, right? Lincoln, who are, I think have they won that league yet? Or let's have a look. Lincoln in League One, aren't they? Let's have a look. I mean, Lincoln are top by 7 points, right? And they are, oh wow, they are 18 points clear of third place with 7 games to go. So unless Lincoln lose all 7 games, Lincoln are promoted. Do you think that when Lincoln City, little Lincoln City, and listen, I don't even know what their stadium holds. Here we go. The LNER Stadium, right? The capacity is 10,669. Do you think when Lincoln City come to Tottenham Hotspur, or when we go to Lincoln City's ground, that they are going to play the game of their lives? They are going to roll up their sleeves. They are going to fight for every single ball. And that's the problem. That's just Lincoln. Who we got? Let's have a little look in the Championship. Let's have a look. We've got, well, Coventry should come up. They're 9 points clear. You got what? Millwall, Hull, Derby, Birmingham, Preston, Swansea, Bristol City, Blackburn, West Brom, Oxford, Charlton, my Charlton, down the road here. Not down the road, but near enough. Wrexham, unless they go up. And that's why when I see people, it's always the same people, by the way. The same arrogant people that go, yeah, don't worry, we'll just rock straight back up. They're the same people that tell me we're going to win every week. They're the same people that, even though they're seeing us not win for 13 games, still belittle every single opponent. They belittle everyone. It's only them. It's only them. Cool. Will all the games be on TV? How are we all going to do watch-alongs? What are we going to do? Are Tottenham going to put the games on for us? My mate I went out with last night actually works for Charlton Athletic. And he said, I can't believe it. He said, we'll be welcoming you to the Valley. I said, yeah, you'll probably beat us at the moment. He went, oh, we're dreadful. He said, the football we play is dreadful. I said, have you watched Tottenham? I don't think we beat Charlton Athletic at the moment. By the way, we were 18th in the Championship with 48 points. Agree. Right, yeah. Took Villa 3 years to come back. Didn't it? Took Villa years to come back. Leeds were down for 16 years. 16 years. That means Tottenham, if we did that, we wouldn't be back up until the 2042 season. 2042. So these are very real conversations that need to be had now about, does a Dyche come in and save us? So many people telling me they want Ange to come in and save us. I've no idea why he would. This is a guy that's shown he's not the guy for those types of games. He lost all these big types of games last year, didn't he, in the league? Robbie Keane. What's Robbie Keane ever done in management to suggest he knows how to get out of this? It's a massive decision, isn't it? Mark, if you're about, feel free to jump on, mate. Just chuck me a WhatsApp if you want to jump on. Or you can chinwag. In 2042, live chat, I'll be 66. Yeah. By the way, that was Leeds. Leeds was 16 years. Nottingham Forest, 23 years. Nottingham Forest were out of the top flight for 23 years. This is a team that's won 2 Champions Leagues, by the way. This is a team that ruled Europe for a couple of years. But don't worry, we'll be all right. We'll just jump straight back. Now, I'm not saying we won't. I just don't have the arrogance that some have. I think it takes, I've seen a lot of fans in the last 3-4 months have actually started to come around now to the idea that, hang on, maybe, just maybe the players in the club aren't as good as you think it is. Yes, we love the club. We will always love the club. That's not the question here. Right? Talking honestly about the club doesn't mean you don't love them. Right? You've all seen that meme. It's a picture of the old grumpy man, right? In the rain, sitting on the bench, talking about Tottenham, saying, I love Tottenham, but, you know. Somebody sent me a picture last night of an AI-generated picture of some Spurs players lowering a coffin into the ground, and it said, when I die, I want Spurs to bury me so they can let me down just one more time. And I'm like, Jesus, this is where we're at. The memes, the gifs, we're a laughing stock. We're a joke. That's where we are. But I'll still rock up, right? For Sunderland away. I'll do a watch along, and in the chat before the game, we'll batter these. It's Sunderland. They're shit. They're shit. They're shit. Then if we don't win, it'll be, can't believe we didn't win. But I'm a glass half full person. That's not being glass half full. Sometimes reality takes over all of this negative, positive notion. You're negative, you're positive. You're negative, you're positive. What about, where does reality live in that? Where does negative, positive reality, right? Like there's a reality to all of this. And the reality is that this is the worst Tottenham team I've ever seen. That's my reality. I don't know about you guys. This is the worst Tottenham team I've ever seen. Now, you chuck Kudus, Maddison, and Kulu in, suddenly it's not. But the rest of it, I've never known so many average players get raved about. Porro, what does Porro do? What does Porro do over 4 or 5 years at Spurs that has made people constantly talk about how great this bloke is? Udogie. What does Udogie do? Apart from keep our physios in a job, what does Van de Ven and Romero do to get such hype about how brilliant they're meant to be? Like I could go on. I could go on and on and on and on. This is collectively the worst Tottenham I've ever seen. And people think that that's negative. That's fine. You can call me negative. this squad has shown for years now that it's not very good. We can talk about managers. I fail to believe that every single one of these managers is that bad. I fail to believe it. I fail to believe that Ange Postecoglou, who we've seen win titles at clubs, was that bad in general. I fail to believe that Thomas Frank, who we've seen for 7 years have a brilliant time at Brentford, suddenly comes to Spurs and isn't good. I fail to believe that Nuno, who's done well wherever he's been really, Wolves, Forest, right? He's got West Ham going in the right direction. But when he comes to Spurs, he looks dreadful. Why? I fail to believe, listen, forget who I like and don't like as a manager. I'm just talking about all of them. You ever seen Conte lose his shit like he does at Spurs? No? Don't get me wrong. We know he's batshit crazy, but you've never seen him blow a gasket like that. Jose Mourinho. The famous clip of Jose Mourinho saying the one club of all the clubs he's managed that he has no affection towards is Tottenham Hotspur. Do you know what? This is the problem. This is the problem. They all say the same thing when they leave. No doubt, Thomas Frank, when he speaks, I don't expect it'll be for another 6 months. But when he does speak, you know what's going to be said. Now, they all say it in different ways. Thomas Frank will probably say, listen, it was difficult and we didn't get this or we didn't get... Ange said it on the overlap, didn't he? AVB said, remember AVB? Andre Villas-Boas, back in the day, talked about how he was promised this and then got this and... And as I said, I know it's very difficult for people to do, but if you decompartmentalize, right? Decompartmentalize what you think of a manager versus what happens when they're at Tottenham. As I said, there are managers we all like and there are managers we don't. But I fail to believe that all of these managers suddenly come to Tottenham and they just go to shit. Then we see them leave and they go elsewhere and they do well. And you're like, yeah, but he couldn't do it at Spurs. Do we ever think that maybe we're the problem? Do we ever think that we're the problem? We always, everyone, Thomas Frank, Spurs are too big for him. In what way? He's been at a club for the last 7 years that has been built really well. He's got them loads of points. He got them in the top half of the table twice. Little Brentford, right? Comes to Spurs. Falls to pieces. Nuno. As I said, Nuno seems to do he does a good job, doesn't he? Without overpraising it. Nuno does a good job. Comes to Spurs. But everything falls to shit. Everything falls to shit when he comes to Spurs. We are the problem. Us. We constantly want to look over the fence of our garden to see the problem, don't we, in our neighbour's garden? It's us. It's in our garden. Stop looking over the fence. It's us. We're the problem. This football club's the problem. ENIC's the problem. Right? The arrogance of our fan base is a problem. Spurs were too big for Frank. What do you mean? He left a club that was better run than Tottenham. He left a club that had been finishing above Tottenham. He left a club that had more points for 3 years than Tottenham. And he comes to Spurs and it falls to shit. Same with Ange. Same with Jose. Same with Conte. AVB was talked up as the next best thing in football management. Right? Comes to Spurs. Again, Joe, again, I always know the people that won't be able to actually understand what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. This isn't about backing Frank. I'm talking about Frank and Ange and Nuno and AVB. Listen to what I'm actually saying, not what you think I'm saying, right? I am speaking English very clearly. It's not what I said. Listen to what I'm saying, Joe, because if you don't, right, that is when you start hearing what you want, not what I'm saying. This isn't about Thomas Frank. This isn't about Ange. This is about Spurs. This is the whole thing. I know people struggle. I know people struggle because they're so set on their opinion that they can't look at the bigger picture. See, again, look, again, as I said, this guy all the time, he's not understanding the point of the chat. He's not understanding it, is he? Not getting it in any way, shape, or form. Like again, isn't it the same trolls? Good thing that you now finally blame the owners. I know this is probably a spotty teenager who lives in his mum's basement. I get it, right? It's okay. The spots will clear up and you will pull a girl one day. Don't worry. Let me tell you something, child. All right? I have been ENIC out since 2007, right? It is now 2026. I have been ENIC out for 19 years, right? 19. And then I get people like you go, oh, you now finally blame the owners. What are you talking about? I've been ENIC out for nearly 20 years. I'll tell you what worries me, people. These people that have two ears and can't listen to what's actually being said, somebody employs them and pays them. These people have jobs. These people are trusted to do things. Who in this chat? There's nearly 700 of you in here. Who here has ever seen me not blame ENIC? Who here has ever heard me say this is not ENIC's fault about the entirety of the club? Who? None of you. People think because I didn't like Ange, it meant that I liked ENIC. What? I hate to break it to people, but I've seen how many managers come and go at this football club. I'll show you. I'll tell you what. I'm going to show you, right? I'm going to show you. Since I was born, every manager that Tottenham have had. Are you ready? Mate, just shut up. You're half the problem, mate. Just shut up. Sorry. You know, I let you back in. You troll. You just say dumb shit all the time, mate. Honestly. And then you say, "Oh, I come on and I schooled you." Oh, I'd be surprised if you even went to school. All right, let's have a look at this. Right, here we go, people. This is Spurs manager history. Let me put myself there, right? This is Spurs manager history, right? Going all the way back to when I was born in 1982. Right? And yet people can't understand the difference between me not liking a manager, not personally, by the way, just them as a manager. People can't understand the difference between me not rating the manager and the bigger picture of ENIC have ruined our club. Right? Have a look at how many there, right? Let's count them. Tudor is 1. Frank is 2. Postecoglou 3. Mason and Stellini, that's 5. Conte 6. Nuno 7. Mason 8. Jose 9. Let's go down. Jose Mourinho is 9. Poch is 10. Sherwood's 11. Villas Boas is 12. Inglethorpe is 13. Redknapp is 14. Allen is 15. Ramos is 16. Inglethorpe again, 17. Allen, 18. Jol, 19. Santini is 20. Pleat, 21. By the way, we're still in the Premier League era. Hoddle is 22. Pleat again, 23. Graham is 24. Pleat, 25. Houghton, 26. Gross, 27. Francis is 28. Perryman, 29. Ardiles, 30. Clements, 31. Shreves, 32. Venables, 33. Hartley, 34. Livermore, 35. Pleat, 36. Shreves, 37. Birkinshaw, 38. Terry, there you go. That one, 38. Keith Birkinshaw was the manager when I was born. In the time I've supported Tottenham, 40 different men have been in charge of this football club. 40. I am 43. That is nearly a manager for every year I've been alive. Please learn the difference between not liking a manager and the bigger picture. There are loads of those managers who I couldn't stand managing Tottenham. There are loads of those managers who I liked managing Tottenham. It doesn't mean that I blame them for everything that's gone on. Right? Managers have their part to play. Some were good, some were bad. Some had bad circumstances, some had good circumstances. Some had loads of money, some didn't. Some saw us through stadium rebuilds. Some saw us in financial difficulty. Others have been given 400 million. Bigger picture. And I know, as I said, right? You can find it hard to believe, but anyone who knows me, I'll tell you why again. Why? Anybody want to guess why I turned ENIC out in 2007? Anyone want to have a little guess of why I was ENIC out in 2007? Again, unfortunately, because this guy doesn't know the football club, he probably doesn't understand what event happened that made me go, nah, don't like these owners at all. Right? Yes, it was. It was the way they handled the Martin Jol situation made me go, nah, not having it. Exactly, right? Exactly, right? Exactly. So when you've got people that go, I don't believe this, I don't give a fuck what you believe, right? I don't care. There was football before YouTube, right? Because I don't come on here every day and just go ENIC out, ENIC out, ENIC out, ENIC out, doesn't mean I'm not ENIC out, right? There was a life before the internet existed. I hate to break it to you. Football existed before the internet, right? As soon as I saw the way the owners did that, I wasn't a big fan of them coming in anyway because of their statement when they took the club over. So I was never really on board with them because they told us why they were here. And then when I saw what they did to Yo, I was like, nah, that's not the one. You don't treat people like that. You don't treat people like that. And anyone who knows me knows that I've hated ENIC for the majority of their tenure here. So no, I won't have people suddenly go, oh, it's good to see you're finally acknowledging the owner. What are you talking about? And what makes me laugh more than anything, people, is I come on here every day and tell everybody my opinions. Not like I'm not like you lot. You lot can sit in a room and I'm not going to remember every opinion every one of you has. You could change it every day and I wouldn't know. I come onto screen like the other YouTubers do, and we tell you our opinions only for people to not listen and then pretend we've said something else. I saw people in the Spurs 5 chat the other night going, yeah, Savva now says he wants to get relegated. And I'm like, what? Who said that? I didn't, but someone says it. And then people in the chat go, yeah, but Savva's a dick anyway, that prick. And you're like, hang on. We've made up conversation here. Right? People like this make stuff up, then go and say it, and other people go, yeah, I believe that. If you want to know, ask me something, because who knows my opinion better than me? No one. Maybe my wife. No one. Me. Don't ask other people. Don't let other YouTubers tell you what I've said and what I meant. I see this as well a lot. YouTubers go, yeah, well, Savva said this, and the problem is, no. Listen to what I actually say. Big up for the super chat, my man, Sanctuary7. How you doing, Sanctuary? Hope you're well. Said, on the OK jersey, what's the meaning of pieces when you order? It says 15 piece. What does that mean? Sorry, want to get me and kids in England top. 15 piece. I don't actually know. Let me look into it. I've never seen that before. I don't know what that means. I don't know if anyone else has ordered from there. I don't know. I genuinely don't know, my man. You didn't have to put money into for me to answer that question, by the way. I don't know what that means, mate. I'm so sorry. I just don't know what that means. Anyone else in the chat? Look, anybody can have whatever opinion they want on the owners, but you can't tell other people what their opinion on the owners should be or when they should have had that opinion, right? If we, can I ask then, if we start, which manager you want next season? Who's the director of football at the club? How much money are they going to give him? How much time is the manager going to have? What's it matter? Right now, what's it matter who the manager is? What does it matter? What does it matter? What, we're going to get another manager, give him 6 months, and then that manager's going to go. Are we going to put a plan in place? It's not about fence sitting. I can sit here and say what managers I like. It doesn't mean anything with these owners. Unless they change their ways, it doesn't matter. As I said, people all day long talk to me, get Poch back, get Poch back. Okay, cool. What's Poch going to do with these players? What's Poch going to do without a plan? There's a reason he left the first time, right? So, you know, people can say it's fence sitting. As I said right now, when we bought in Igor Tudor, I said, I haven't got an opinion on it. No, but you must have. Well, what's the point? Why does it matter if I've got an opinion on Igor Tudor? What does it matter? These owners aren't going to back anyone. I mean, these hypotheticals, you stay up, but Ange gets a 3-year deal. Are you taking that? I mean, what sort of hypothetical question is that? No, I want Spurs to stay up, right? I don't want Ange Postecoglou at my football club. Like the two things can coexist, right? I don't have to have one or the other, right? I don't have to bulk it together. Yeah, it just makes me laugh. You got to remember though, Matt is somebody that has changed from all managers need 3 to 5 years to sack a manager after 6 months. Then he's gone from anyone but Frank. Oh, no, but not Tudor. Then he wanted to keep Tudor because he got a point against Liverpool. Now he's Tudor out. Like when people's opinions change like the wind, it's very difficult for me to need to justify myself to that person. When you say all managers need 3 to 5 years, that means all managers, right? Or does it mean just the manager you like? Because that's crazy, right? You either truly believe that all managers deserve 3 to 5 years or you don't. And this is the problem. If you're going to change what you say every day, people are going to judge you on that. There are YouTubers even YouTubers I work with, their opinion changes by the minute. It's very difficult, right? It's very difficult. This week, Tudor in. Last week, Tudor out. The week before, Tudor in. Like, how does the mind go like that? Again, there was loads of people hated ENIC pre-Poch. Loads of people hated ENIC. I mean, any of you ever see Stell when he was on X? Or it was Twitter at the time. God, before I even knew him. Him, Daigle, The ENIC out. There was loads of noise around it. This is a subject that's been going around for years and years and years. This isn't new. This isn't new. Sure. But we were 17th in the league and lost 22 games. You know, there's swings and roundabouts with this. Swings and roundabouts. Look, we're not in this mess because of one person. This isn't on Ange. This isn't on Frank. We're not in. This club's been a mess for a very, very long time. And I think lots of people this year are starting to grasp that. I've never known, honestly, this year has really opened my eyes to how weird football fans are. This weird fascination so many have with Ange Postecoglou is really weird. Like it's really weird. It's so weird. I've never known it before. He won a trophy. Good. Thank you. Good. But I've never known anything like it. We're now 2 managers past Ange, and we've still got people going, oh, well, if Ange was here, on what evidence? On what evidence? Ange's last 18 months in the Premier League was truly horrific. This isn't on Ange. This isn't on Frank. This isn't on Tudor. This is his bigger picture. And yet, I thought, honestly, I get it. When Frank was here, I get it. It was Ange and Frank. Now they've both gone, you're thinking, oh, surely people will stop talking about Ange. No, we're still talking about him. Every show. Every show. Managers are part of the problem. Of course they are. Every manager needs to take their critique. Of course they do. But they're not the main problem, right? Me not rating Ange, I've said this so many times, me not rating Ange doesn't mean that I believe all of Spurs' issues are on Ange Postecoglou. I just didn't rate him as a manager. I thought he was a terrible manager, right? It's no biggie. It shouldn't offend anyone. I find it very strange when people get offended by it. If people don't like Thomas Frank, sure, shouldn't offend anyone. If people don't like Tudor, it shouldn't offend anyone. But we do. We get really attached to it. We get really attached to individuals, and I don't get it. Pochettino. There are those right now that love him. They cannot wait for Pochettino to come back. There are those that are saying, don't want him back. Why would anyone get offended by that? Like, doesn't offend me. If anyone here thinks that Poch should be manager, fine. If they think he shouldn't be, fine. But it just seems like a lot of our fan base get offended. It seems like a lot of our fan base, no matter what happens, they have to talk about Ange Postecoglou when he's not even in the subject. like we could be talking about a player and it goes, yeah, but Ange, you know, it's got nothing to do with it. As we said, this club for 2 years, whether it was Ange, whether it was Frank, we're averaging a point a game. Let's be fair. We should not be putting either of those managers on a pedestal. But both those managers aren't entirely to blame for it, like swings and roundabouts. I will show people this again. For those that don't quite understand, here is the graph showing the trend of how bad Tottenham have been getting over the years. It is going backwards, people. Look at it. Look at the severe drop-off. From Poch's peak, look at the massive drop-off, right? And this is why I've always thought the Ange-Frank debate just feels entirely pointless. Like it just feels absolutely pointless. Both of them can sit there and say they were averaging 1 point. I think Frank's was just over 1 point a game, roughly 1 point a game for 2 years between them. And we want to argue about shit v shit. Like, what are we doing? I'm not blaming both the managers. Both had horrific injury lists. We know that. Both, you know, both had things to deal with, yada, yada, yada. But the point is, what's the point in arguing about Ange v Frank? What are we actually getting out of that? That's like me saying, I hate Chinese food and I hate curry. Let me argue about which one I hate more. What's the point? If I don't like it, by the way, I do like Chinese and curry, but you know, like, what are we? Yeah, that's Savva's heart monitor. Well, when you're watching Spurs, this could be somebody's heart monitor, couldn't it? But again, when you show this data, people don't want to listen. But it's all Frank. No. But it's all Ange. No. Look at it. Look at the data. This doesn't lie. This data is incapable of lying because it's the truth. It's incapable of lying. The revisionism on certain managers is baffling. Listen, I liked Thomas Frank. I thought he needed time, but he's gone. He's gone. Like, there's no revisionism on it. He's gone. You move on. But the Ange thing is just, it never seems to go away. I see him talking the other day on TV about what Spurs need to do to get out of this position. I'm sitting there thinking, how would you know, mate? You had us in this position as well. The only difference is the 3 teams below us had all been relegated. So I just think we need to hopefully move on. As I said, this one cracks me up. This one cracks me up. But the players are better than we're seeing. Again, look at Savva. This is karma for sacking the one manager who won you a trophy. Sean, what did he do in the league? What? This is so weird. Look, like, you're so... These people are just so... They're not Spurs fans. It's Ange. Ange Postecoglou was a moment in Spurs history. I've never understood these people who back a player or manager more than the actual football club. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. But each to their own. Again, I'll show you. And you know, as I said, look at this stupid statement, right? Yeah, I get slated for saying Ange needed 3 to 5 years. You said that every manager needed 3 to 5 years. This is the problem, Matt. As I said, if your opinion is every manager needs 3 to 5 years, fine. There's nothing wrong with that opinion if you have that opinion for every manager. You can't pick and choose which manager you think should get 3 to 5 years. Like, it has to be the same for everyone, right? Ange Postecoglou won a Europa League. Like, people tell fans like me that as though we didn't know. But what did he do in the league? What did he do in the league? He was worse than Frank in the league. So what does it matter? Like, what does all of this matter? I'd love to get Matt on again. He never will show his face, though. He doesn't want to put his opinion to his face, which is fine. We know what happens, right? I'd love him to come on, but he always says, oh, I can't, I'm busy, but yet he's always watching. New evidence. What new evidence did we see? What new evidence? Sure, I agree. When you see new evidence over time, sure. But what you saw was Ange do that. So what new evidence did you see that made him need 3 to 5 years, but not Frank? I think that's a bloody good question I've asked there. What's the evidence that was seen that he should have got 3 to 5 years more and not Frank, who had only got 6 months? Just asking for a friend. By the way, Daniela, when I looked at this table, right, it's interesting what you say. This table, by the way, is 3 years to today, right? 3 years to the 26th. Everton and Forest would actually be above Spurs without their points deductions. So this table, Spurs are actually 15th for a 3-year period. But don't worry about that. That doesn't fit in, does it? Not you, but I'm saying people just it doesn't matter. 3 years of data, it doesn't matter. No one's saying Ange didn't win a Europa League, but for the league, for 18 months, it was horrendous. The reason Frank got sacked, because it wasn't going well in the league. This is what happens. Managers get sacked for not doing well. We can talk about the circumstances, but managers will get sacked through their league performance because the league is the bread and butter. The league is where the clubs make their money. The league is what dictates that you get back into those European competitions. The league is what dictates what players you can sign. So when all these people go, oh my God, he won a cup and got sacked. Well, yes, because he left the club in a terrible state. Not just him. The same way you don't see me sitting here every day going, I can't believe we sacked Frank. He's gone. Move on. Move on. Please, people. And that's the point, isn't it, Daryl? Big up to you, my man. I hope you're well. This is the point, Daryl. If one cup run, right, where we actually stopped playing the manager's way of playing to win the trophy, right? If one cup run is enough to give a manager 3 to 4 years, no matter what they do in the league, that's crazy to me. Each to their own. Here you go. Ange's footballing philosophy, which was aligned with mine, what, gung-ho, not worrying about defending, right? Frank had a negative philosophy, never won anything anywhere. Sorry, where would you expect Thomas Frank to have won a trophy? At Brentford? Again, dude, you don't get it. Unfortunately, as I said, people like this won't get it. Success is relative. When you're at a club like Brentford, would you say Iriola's been a success at Bournemouth? Just asking for a friend. Would we say that Iriola's been a success at Bournemouth? Why? Bromby weren't the great team they once were when Frank was there during that period. Again, you don't know your football history. This is the problem, right? You know the name Bromby. Oh my God, he should have won a trophy. Are we saying, did Thomas Frank do a really good job at Brentford for 7 years? There's the question. No other question. Not talking about winning trophies. I'm not talking about Tottenham. Did Thomas Frank do a really good job at Brentford for 7 years? Right? There's the question. Everyone in the chat. Did he do a really good job at Brentford for 7 years? By the way, Brentford were a bottom half championship team when he went there. Right? So the success is relative. Again, me trying to talk to people like Matt about relative success is probably like someone trying to explain string theory to me. And this is the point. So when people go, he never won anywhere. He was at Brentford for 7 years. That's like me saying Marco Silva's won nothing at Fulham. Why would Marco Silva win anything at Fulham? Iriola's not won anything at Bournemouth. Look how many people want Iriola as manager. Matt, because you can go and do your research and your history, mate. You've got the internet. Matt, come on. Come on and talk to me. Don't shit your pants like last time. Come on. Come on. And this is the point, right? Our fans can't separate that he did a brilliant job at Brentford versus what happened at Tottenham Hotspur. Because at Brentford, he had a good setup, good staff, good scouting. Yeah? Time. Doesn't mean he should have at Spurs. But things are relative. If any Spurs fan says he didn't do a bloody good job at Brentford, then they're lying. That's just a lie, isn't it? Exactly. What did Poch win? I bet everyone wants Poch back. Right. And great point, Ian. Great point. Ferg, go and do your homework for that era. Feel free. As I said, people say things, but they don't actually They don't actually go and do their homework. Again, I am not in any way saying Frank should be at Spurs. I'm just bringing up, right? I'm just bringing up a conversation that when we say, oh, what did he do? What's he done as a manager? It's all relative. It's all relative. Would we say that Reggie Lebrie's done a really good job at Sunderland? Got them promoted. They're staying up. He's not won anything with Sunderland. Why is he good? He's not won it. If the only measure is what somebody's won, then nearly every manager out there is shit, right? That's the problem. Matt, you don't get abused, mate. You say silly things every show and people see that you do that. And this is the thing. He did do an amazing job at Brentford. He did. What they built was brilliant as a football club. Keith Andrews has carried it on, right? Done a brilliant job. Because they're a really well-run club. This isn't rocket science. This isn't rocket science. As I've said, what happens, by the way, we'll say Frank, but any manager, what happened if Frank came into Spurs and takes over Kane and Son and Ericsson and Ali and Dembele, right? Now you've got a different conversation, haven't you? What happens if he's given 7 years to build like he was at Brentford? I don't know, by the way. I'm not saying a definitive, but this is what happens. And again, what we'll do with the next manager, right? We'll do it again, won't we? The next manager will come in, and if he doesn't hit the ground running after picking up a shit show, fans will go, oh my God, he's dreadful. We've got to get him out. Fine. But then you're never ever gonna build anything. You're never, ever going to build anything. Right? And that's the problem with it. At some stage, you're going to have to build with someone. No rebuild. We're not rebuilding from anything. There's nothing to rebuild from. At some stage, we're going to have to put the infrastructure in place and be patient. But the moment we hit a snag, we're all guilty of it. The moment we hit a snag, we all go, this is shit. He's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go. Don't like him. Don't like his style. Don't like this. Cool. But you've also got to have the players to play the style that the manager wants. We don't ever give any manager that. And the problem is that we get so hung up on who we like and who we don't as a manager that we're all missing a bigger picture. Look how much people got hung up on the January window, right? Don't give the money to Frank. No, forget Frank. What about Tottenham Hotspur, the football club? What about backing the football club? No, I wouldn't want to back Frank. No. What about the football club? Absolutely. Absolutely, right? But what have they got? They've got such a good infrastructure at Brentford, haven't they? They've got such a good infrastructure at Brentford. They scout well. They hire well. They've got a philosophy. They've got a data-driven platform that works for them and has worked for years. And it's funny, isn't it? When people go into that, you look good. I'll ask you this. Keith Andrews done a really good job this year. What would happen if you dropped Keith Andrews into Tottenham? What would happen if Keith Andrews was dropped into Tottenham Hotspur, where there isn't the philosophy, where there isn't the calm behind the scenes, where there isn't a squad that's been built for a purpose? What would happen? Right? I'm not having a go at Keith Andrews here, by the way. What would happen? Keith Andrews would come in here. We'd be shit. And then we'd all go, oh, well, you fired Keith Andrews. What can he do at Spurs? It's too big for him. Sure, but he's doing a great job at a club that are really well run. Some clubs are really well run. By the way, Bromby have won the league once in 15 years, by the way. Once in 15 years. Once. Anyway. I just want to see someone that comes into Tottenham and is actually given some time to build a philosophy, a plan. Right? That I don't think I'm asking too much. What do you mean all Brentford managers? What are we talking about? See, again, not a Spurs fan. Your hate for Frank shouldn't trump Spurs needing to stay up. Forget Frank. He's gone. We needed players in January, whoever the manager was. Your hate now for Frank is actually more concerning, that you would rather Spurs go down than actually buy the players in to keep us up. And who is that? And who is that, Ferg? Is the right people who you like, right? Well, who is that someone? None of them matter if they don't sort it out upstairs. None of them matter if they don't change upstairs. We've had Poch. What happened? We didn't build anything. What's Xavi going to do? I love Xavi as a manager. What is Xavi going to do? What is Xavi going to do if he comes here? How's he going to play his style of football? Are they going to back him? Are they going to go and buy loads of technical players that play his way? Are they then going to filter that throughout the club? Are they then going to bring in a manager after Xavi that plays similar? Big questions. It's got to be sorted up there. It's got to be sorted up there. The CEO and the director of football, absolutely, this we agree on, right? This we agree on, Ferg. If that's not sorted out, none of this down here matters. This is what those other clubs have done. They've sorted that out. Got a plan. They've got a plan. So you're bringing whoever you want. By the way, I love Xavi. I'd love Xavi at Spurs. Can you imagine Xavi with these players? He's going to be like, what have I done? What are we doing here? He's going to look around and go, who plays my style of football? So now you need to go and buy a whole new squad that play his style of football. You're going to have to bring in the likes of Van Hecker, the Adam Whartons. You're going to have to go and buy these players. So when people go to me, which manager do you want? I mean, how many years are we going to do this? How many years are we going to do this? So I say which type of manager I like. That manager comes in, isn't backed, isn't given the tools. They fail, and then people go, gutted. You liked that manager. Sure, we'll do it. Let's do it again. What does it matter? And this is why people aren't getting it. This is why people aren't doing it. And absolutely. Absolutely. If Xavi came in here, he'd be like, whoa. Right. From the first training session, he's going to see, Jesus Christ, how am I going to play my style of football with these lot? And that is the problem. Over and over and over again. That's why when people think I'm harsh on Matt in the chat, when he's going, which manager? Tell us, don't sit on the fence. As I've said, This club have shown me for the last 25 years, it doesn't matter. They've shown me it doesn't matter because they don't back them. They bought in Conte. What are you bringing in Conte for if you're going to give him players like Ryan Sessegnon? What are you bringing in Conte for if you're going to give him, I don't know, who was it, Matt Doherty or was that Jose? Like, why are you bringing in Jose and you're giving him Doherty, Gedson, Vinicius? You know, you brought in Conte and giving him players like Longley. What does it matter? What does it genuinely matter? They come in, they're not given the tools, and then we go, oh, this manager is shit. Like, cool. And I've been guilty of this. Of course, we've all been guilty of this. We've all been guilty of this. But if someone turned around and said, right, in the summer, here's Ralph Rangnick as the director of football. We're going to bring in Xavi Hernandez to manage underneath him. These two are starting at the same time. They're going to build this club together for 5 years. They're going to get 5 years, no matter how he does, right? We are going to build. We aren't going to shit the bed the moment we don't win for a month. We're not going to shit the bed. These guys are going to build. They're going to be allowed to sell and bring in whoever they want. If they do that, I'm here for it. Now I care who the manager is. But right now, what does it matter? Honestly, people go, De Zerbi. I like De Zerbi's football, sure. But also, we know De Zerbi is going to throw his toys out the pram, right? We know it. We know his character. De Zerbi and ENIC. I mean, same thing I said about Conte and ENIC. I mean, it's, again, not about the manager's ability. I've got nothing against De Zerbi. If you bring him in, fine. Welcome to the club. Good luck. But we're not learning. And what makes me laugh is when I see people like Matt, he's not getting it from manager to manager to manager. He's not getting it. Because if we think every problem is just the manager, we are not understanding how Tottenham Hotspur are run as a company, as an entity. Right? That's essentially it. Glasner. Let's look at Glasner. Glasner's a good manager, hasn't he? He's had a good career, good manager, right? Done well at Palace, did well before with Frankfurt, won an FA Cup, won the Europa League. I can guarantee you, if Glasner came into this football club, you'll have 50% of people who do not want to see wing-backs straight away won't like him. You'll have 50% to say, but he doesn't play the Spurs way. They won't like him. Right? And then the moment you have a run, 4 or 5 defeats, or, 5, 6 games without winning, people will go, I see Glasner. See, can't do it at a big club like Spurs. And that's the problem, right? That's the problem. People are saying, what philosophy do you like, Savva? I love Xavi's style of football. I like De Zerbi's style. I like Pep's. I like pressing, passing, possession-based football. But I'm also acknowledging that you have to have the right squad to be able to pull that off. Managers can't just drop in to a bad squad and go, da-da. See, I could keep pointing out, he doesn't get it. The director of football has to set that philosophy for the club. You're getting it backwards. The director of football needs to set that philosophy. Then you bring in the manager that's got the philosophy. Then it filters into the club. Because what happens then is when the manager leaves 2, 3, 4 years down the line, that manager comes out and you insert somebody else in here with a similar philosophy. That has to be implemented at the top, not from a manager. You're not getting how football clubs work. This is the problem. When Man City lose Pep Guardiola, what will they do? They will bring in another manager that will play, obviously there's no one like Pep, but a similar philosophy that will have the same kind of beliefs on the way the game is played, so that when that new manager picks up Man City, the players will instantly recognize what the manager is doing, and the manager will instantly recognize that these players are capable of playing his way. But this is where, again, as I said, fans like Matt don't understand that it's not just simple as going, I want that manager, he plays this way. Because we've seen Spurs do this. We bring in a manager that plays attacking. What do we do next? Because there's no philosophy at the club, the manager takes the philosophy with him, and you bring in a new manager who doesn't play that way. So the philosophy must be Tottenham's, not the manager's. Does that make sense? Like, the manager must slot in to the club philosophy. Look, Dougie Freedman rejected us yesterday, didn't he? Dougie Freedman's rejecting Spurs. That's where we're at, right? Dougie Freedman is rejecting Spurs. Big up, Drula. How you doing? It's the same cycle every time. New manager, same problems because the board hasn't changed. We're having a curry later. Alison coming over. I've just realised I'm not on mute. That doesn't mean anything to her. Just a few. Well, I'll tell you what. Could you get me like a 4-pack of Brewdog? Like a Wingman or Hazy Jane or something, or Punk, something like that. Thank you. Sorry, I just completely had that conversation. The question was, do I want anything from Tesco? I've just not put myself on mute. Talking about, oh yeah, I can actually eat. And this is the problem, right? Drula, you're absolutely right. The board has to change. The philosophy at the football club has to change, not one manager. And this is why people keep going, who do you want? What's it matter? What's it matter? If you float like that, philosophy to philosophy to philosophy, what's it matter? Don't care. Just don't care. And absolutely. My man Noodles, that's the name of your dog, isn't it? Can't get a new director of football until we know what division we're in. Absolutely. Absolutely. Imagine, again, I just use his name, or someone I like. Imagine you rock up to Ralph Rangnick now and go, you want to be our director of football? He's going to go, can I wait and see what league you're in first? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, sure. I'll sign on the dotted line right now. Oh, shit, we've been relegated 7 games later. Same with the manager stuff, right? Same with the manager stuff. Again, you're not getting it. City bought in Tiggy Buckenstein, right? Who ran the club as a director of football. He's the one that will work with Pep for the players that are needed for that philosophy. Now, when Pep goes, City have a philosophy. I bet you any money you like, that when Pep goes, Man City will not completely scrap their philosophy and suddenly go to a defensive-minded manager. Right? It's so difficult. Honestly, Anton, it is so difficult. He doesn't get it, because you know why? He's not understanding that any company, the direction is set up there. Right? Who sets the direction for Facebook? It's not an engineering manager, is it? It's Zuckerberg. He set the direction. He sets the direction and hires what he needs to execute. Spurs fans, like Matt, Spurs fans like Matt think it's the manager underneath that comes in and goes, right, this is how we're running the entire club. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And again, this is what we need. We need a philosophy set throughout this club so that it doesn't matter who the manager is, if that makes sense. Look at Brighton. The managers Brighton have tend to play the same style-esque. Not identical. But Brighton, when Hotspur leaves Brighton, we all know the type of manager that Brighton will have lined up. We all know. We all know. And that's what we don't have at Tottenham. That's what we don't have at Tottenham. And if Spurs bring in a manager with this philosophy and a director of football that has this philosophy, are we going to back that philosophy for a number of years? Are we going to pursue with it when it hits road bumps? Or are fans going to shit the bed and the club shit the bed whenever something goes bad? Oh, God, shit. We're bottom half. Gone. Right? Then you've got to run that philosophy through your football club. Because if your youth teams aren't playing that way, how do you promote them into that style? This isn't and has never been rocket science, ever. And those that don't get it, because they think that it's only the manager that does this. The manager's the guy that executes. The manager is the guy that executes. But the plan has to come from above. The plan has to be that Spurs are saying, this is the manager we want. When that manager goes, we've got a new one coming in that's very similar to this. Spurs go from Poch to Jose to Nuno to Conte to Ange to Frank to Shoot. Like, we're just swinging in a pendulum from philosophy to philosophy to philosophy. Because why? Because no one up there said, nah, this is what we do. This is what we do as a football club. So it doesn't matter that the manager then gets poached by somebody else because we've got a plan. It's not just about bringing Xavi Hernandez and all is well. Cool. How much money are you giving Xavi Hernandez? What's the succession plan to Xavi Hernandez leaving? Are you going to let Xavi Hernandez get rid of 20 of the squad over 2 years if he feels that they can't play his way? Absolutely. Andy, absolutely. The directors of football, it's a mess, isn't it? The whole thing's a mess. So when people say, what manager? I don't know. I don't know. There's managers I like, but are we going to listen? For example, I love Luis Enrique. I'm being silly. He's never going to come. I love Luis Enrique. I'd love to see what Luis Enrique would make of this squad. I'd love it. I'd love to see what he makes of this squad. Big up, Lee. How you doing? I haven't seen you for ages. How you doing, Lee? It's spot on. Need to set a philosophy and build on it regardless of pressure. Fans need to know the plan. I completely agree with it. Absolutely. Bang on. There's a second point that we didn't discuss. Absolutely. You got Johan Lang, right, Lee? We all saw the Lang interview, right? Lang comes out in that interview and says, after the transfer window, and says, we want to play almost the Spurs way. We want to play the Spurs way. We want to be a high-pressing football team with attacking. But cool. Why are we not signing those types of players then? Why is that not what we're doing in the market? If that is what you want, Johan, why have you not been buying those players for the last 3-4 years, however long Johan's been here? What's he been here? 3 years, 4 years? Why? Right. Do you know what I mean? Like why? So Johan Lang, for me, if he is still going to be here, which I think is crazy, but if he is going to be the guy, come out in the summer. This is what we want to be. This is what we want to be. We're going to demonstrate it with our signings and buy the manager and buy a director. But tell us. But you know what? I think you're absolutely right. What's more important than telling us is showing us. We want to be competitive on all four fronts. And then they went and had that transfer window where they just replaced a few players. Like, you know, they're saying this, but doing this. Right? And I don't understand how so many can't see it. I genuinely don't understand that we think a manager fixes this. A manager comes in and fixes everything. Like, look how many people have put all their hopes on Pochettino. All their hopes on Poch. Poch isn't used to this mess. The mess Poch found himself in when he joined in 2014, nowhere near this mess. Nowhere near this mess. And he doesn't have a Dembele type in the team. There isn't a Harry Kane. He hasn't got Jan and Toby at the back. There's no Hugo Lloris in goal. We haven't got one of the quickest, strongest right backs in the world in Walker. We haven't got a midfield enforcer like Wanyama. We haven't got a goal-scoring midfielder like Dele Alli. We haven't got a top wide man like Son. Now, that's not me saying I wouldn't welcome Poch back, but everyone's saying he'll just fix everything because he gets us. But gets what? What are we? What does he get? What does that mean? I agree with Sean. What Sean's always said about the Poch thing. I feel like Poch needs to come back so that people can scratch that itch, right? But Pochettino's not a magician. He's not a magician. He's a coach, right? He will need good players to play the way he wants to play. Will he play good football? Sure, if he's given good players. What happened the last year? Poch being here. Couldn't win a game. We were poor, weren't we? Why? And you're right, Lee. It is. It's unfinished business, right? I think is the expectation. You're right. But I think the worry for me, you're absolutely hitting the nail on the head today, Lee. The problem is, this isn't the first time around, is it? And everyone's going to be I think that a lot of people are going to be really underwhelmed because they're going to expect him to recreate what happened before. And we just know that life doesn't work like that. We know life doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. No. Again, I feel like I've explained this very well in terms of the manager. Right? As I said, I want Spurs to implement a philosophy, and then I will say, right, that's the route we're going down. Well, this type of manager is good for it. Other than that, right now I'm saying, like, you bring in a manager that wants to play tiki-taka. You bring in a manager that wants to play keep ball possession football. Who in this squad's capable of that? Who? Hardly any of them. So this all goes into the wider picture, doesn't it? If you don't build a squad for one philosophy, if you build a squad for 6 different managers, this is what you end up with. A lot of nothing and a big mess. But this player was brought in for him. Yeah, but he was brought in for him. Yeah, but he was brought in for him. Like we said, Porro and Udogie were brought in for Conte. Right? Mickey van der Ven was clearly brought in the pace for Ange's high line. Conor Gallagher clearly brought in for someone like a Pochettino, right? Some of them, I have no idea why they were brought in. I have no idea why some of these players were brought in. But who right now is going to play that way? The way that Poch played the first time round, who on earth in this squad's capable of mimicking anything we saw before? We don't have a Wanyama Dembele in midfield. We've got a nothing midfield. We've got the weakest midfield out there at the moment. Gray and Sarr. It's just weak. It's nothing. It's powder puff. We don't have Harry Kane. It didn't matter. If Poch had a bad game, you knew Kane and Son, someone's scoring a goal. It's going to get you out of trouble. We don't have that now. We don't have that. See, again, look at these crazy, like, keep ball, Romero, Porro, keep ball, gives the ball away for fun. Gray, on what evidence? Bergvall, I've never seen a player give the ball away more. Xavi and Madders, yes. Solanke. What? Like, this is what I mean. You can't just pretend players have got a skill set that they've not got. You have to buy for that skill set. You have to buy for it. We can't just make it up. Bergvall, for example, one of the worst. His passing is horrible. His passing is horrible. But don't worry, that's the guy for keep ball possession-based football. It's crazy. If you want to bring in Poch, you want to bring in Xavi Hernandez, go and buy me a proper midfield. Go and buy me a proper midfield. I noticed that Matt shit himself and didn't come on. Just saying. Go and buy me a proper midfield. I don't want Gray and Berg. Go and buy me a proper midfield. Then let Gray and Bergvall learn from them. Don't be bringing me in Pochettino or Xavi, and now I've got to watch Gray and Bergvall in the first team still. Look, you've got to, again, people will say to me, who do you want to sign in the summer? How could I possibly answer that when I have no idea who the manager is? Like, how can I possibly sit here and say, that's the player I want in the summer, and I have no idea what league we're going to be in, who the manager is, the director of football. I have no idea which players are leaving. Look, in your ideal world, right, let's say it is Poch. I'd love to see a Poch come in and we go and buy a ball-playing midfielder. Yeah. Couple of top wingers, couple of good fullbacks that can get up and back but actually defend. Couple of solid centre-halves, a good goalkeeper, a top striker. I have zero faith in Tottenham doing any of that. I have zero faith in Tottenham Hotspur getting any of that right. Sorry, I just don't. I don't think this club knows how to go and buy properly. You know why? Because we don't have a profile that we look for. Spurs have not bought a ball-playing midfielder for 7 years. Actually, I say 7 years. Spurs have not bought a ball-playing midfielder since Moussa Dembele. And what year did we buy Dembele? 2000 and... I might be making this up. 12? 13? And this is the problem. We don't know what they're identifying. We don't know who they'd be buying for. Ellie, as I said, until they implement a philosophy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah, listen, it's difficult. I think, listen, I do it because I think there's good people like you out there. There's so many good people. I just think there's so many silly people that just can't, they can't wrap their head around adult things. Do you know what I mean? They think that football is a computer game, and it's not. So you think, right, so it was 2012 when we bought Moussa Dembele, right? You think since then, look at all the central midfielders this club has bought. Being poor, isn't it? been absolutely horrific. The number of central midfielders this club has bought, horrific. Not one of them I go, yeah, top midfield. Wanyama, sorry, I know he was after Dembele, wasn't he? Since then, look at the number of midfielders Spurs have bought. We don't know a good midfielder. Our fans don't even know. Look at the praise the likes of Sagra and Bergvall get. It's baffling. It's truly baffling. We see a midfielder pass the ball 10 yards and we go, did you see that pass? Oh my gosh. People send me clips, go, God, you see this pass today? So what? Do it all game. I don't want to see a pass. Right? Absolutely. Drooler, you get it. Exactly. And this is where Stella's absolutely right with it. Until them lot up there change, nothing will change. We can all have these arguments. Oh, I want De Zerbi. I don't want De Zerbi. I want Dyche. I don't want Dyche. Oh, we need a Glasner. No, we don't. We need a Xavi. What's it matter? How many years of evidence do we need to see that none of it matters? So as I've said, when Spurs sign managers now, until they change, I will say, welcome to the club. Good luck. Doesn't matter if I rate them or not. Welcome and good luck. Because you're going to need it. Welcome, good luck. We just seen what we did with the last permanent manager we brought in, Frank. Didn't back him. Probably won't back the next guy as well. In Ange's last summer, they gave him 4 kids. Like it's what's it matter? No, I agree, Ellie. I agree. But I also think that, you know, like me, right? When I was younger, I was made to go and learn about great players for Spurs like Perryman, right? I was made to go and learn about the players and watch them. And now, look who we rate as players. Like, I genuinely look at this squad, Ellie, and go, oh, God, there's nothing exciting about it at all. Like, when I see that Spurs are lining up in 2026 with Sarr and Gray as a midfield 2, that's how you know you've hit all levels of crap. That can't be your midfield 2. That can't be your midfield 2 in a Premier League game. Everyone's overrated. Everyone now gets overrated because they do a thing. I was talking with Chris earlier about this on WhatsApp. He said, I remember when people had to do, you know, players used to have to be good for a couple of years to really get the respect and become rated. Now a player has to have a game, 2 good games, and we go, oh, God, he's really good. Look at, it's just, the standards are so low. Bang on. Again, Lee's on fire. Yeah. There's no star, is there? There's no talisman. There's no talisman at all at Spurs. How worrying is that? Big Tommy Huddleston right now would be the best midfielder at this club by a country mile. That boy had technique. Wonderful passing. Lovely footballer. We know he wasn't the most mobile. Lovely footballer. Lovely footballer. Wasn't even guaranteed a game back then, was he? If we start, would you take this window? Neves, Mitoma, Adeyemi, Van Heck, Robinson, and a striker like Mateta. Which manager? What style? Who's the manager? What are we doing? Of course I'd take that window. Of course I would. But which manager? I don't trust Spurs to pull off a window like that. Not so much Mateta, if I'm brutally honest, but Neves, quality player. Mitoma, I'll take him. Adeyemi. You have Mitoma and Adeyemi out wide. Neves pulling the strings in the midfield. Van Hecker at the back. Robinson left back. Yeah, of course you would. But we don't sign players like that. We don't scout players like that. We don't. What are we buying them for? As I've said, all of these hypotheticals doesn't mean anything. We don't even know what league we're in next year. Look, I don't think this is rocket science. And I think again and again and again, I think we argue about the wrong things. We argue about the wrong things over and over and over. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And guess what? Nothing's changed. If anything, it's getting worse and worse. The more we're told there's change at the top, the worse we're getting. I know. As I said, my mates who don't support Spurs been telling me for years, these players, I know. But our own fans keep raving about these players. It is what it is, right? Look, will it be Dyche? Will it be Tudor? Will it be Harry Redknapp? Stanley? Who will be the manager for the next game? I don't know. At the moment, we just need a win from somewhere, from anywhere. And we've got to pray that West Ham don't beat Wolves. And I've got a feeling they're going to. We could be bottom 3 by the time we play our next game. We could be 2 points off safety the next time we play. So draws are no good. That's what I would probably likely do for the last 7 games, something like that. Yeah, but we'll see. Big up to Sniffer and UFC. So putting the hours in, son. God bless. But listen, that's it for me today. Unless there's any more news, that'll be it for me today, Sniffer. I hate the international break with a passion, but it is what it is. And I'm having a curry later, as you all heard. So that's something to look forward to. Big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. It's Joe. I said 40 in 43 is crazy. Arsenal have had 29, 9 of them interims in our history. Since 83, 5 interims and 7 full-time. It's mad, isn't it? When you look at our Arsenal, what they do with their managers and what we do. Absolutely crazy, Joe. It truly is crazy. It truly is crazy. We change managers so much. Some stage it's got to stop. Big up to you. Big up. Thank you very much, Joe. And big up to my boy Tony out there in Sweden. Said, how about starting the players in their right position? Well, that would be a good start, wouldn't it? Tudor is awful. And as I've said, this is why the message should not have been anyone but Frank. It should have been the right person after Frank. Right? No, thank you. Yeah, listen, I listen, I try not to talk from sentiment. I try not to just say stupid. Do you know what? I'd love to see my mate Matt start a channel. I'd love to see his crazy takes every day. He'd call it something like Bastoni to Spurs. That would be a good channel. Guys, girls, thank you very much. Let me see if anyone else is live. He cracks me up. This boy cracks me up. Absolutely. Shame he didn't come on. Never mind. Let's have a look and see if anyone else is live. We need something to happen at Spurs because otherwise content's going to really dry up from everyone, right? That's just the reality of it. Any Spurs channels live? I can't see that anyone's live anywhere. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Much love, guys. I've enjoyed it. Listen, a little bit of Spurs therapy. And Wolves, please do us a favour in a couple of weeks. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.